Welcome, everybody. This is LYN Live, and tonight, Chere, Cormier, and I are going to talk about pets. And this is going to be fun. So, Chere, I want to start out with you. I know that you deal with so many animals because you're a pet communicator as well as a healer and champion tennis player. So, I just want to have you start off with a couple of your stories and why do you think these products are the best for animals?
I believe that we have holistic, I Hercules with all of the herbs and all natural. Our patches are high frequency. They have no pharmaceutical anything. And I really believe that is why I am very easy with my vets to recommend our patches and I Hercules. And we have couple of my vets, one in Houston and one in New Orleans, called and said, Chere, we need help because we have an overwhelming abundance of fat animals, cats and dogs that are obese, which is bad for their heart, bad for their joints and their muscles. And so I recommended weight loss weight loss and appetite suppressant 3 weeks ago to one of my vets in New Orleans. She called me yesterday. She said, "Oh my God, I need more of those patches. Send me those patches." She said, "We have a very obese bulldog. The joints, she did the pain and inflammation, the joint pain on the bulldog, and the weight loss appetite suppressant. She said that dog lost 3 pounds in 3 weeks. That's like a pound a week. And she said because he's so obese, he can't really walk and exercise enough to lose weight. Plus, it's so hot and his face is smashed in. A bulldog cannot
Yeah,
handle
breathe.
this kind
They
of
can breathe.
breathe, much less exercise in this heat. And so, yeah, I sent a bunch more of the weight lost and the joint pain for that one to my vets in New Orleans.
So tell everybody, because not everybody knows how do you put a patch on a dog?
Well, we put the patch on, of course, their collar, and I like to use a piece of tape. So you just put it on the collar and you put a little piece of scotch tape to make sure that it stays on. And you leave it on for 3 days. And I write on my calendar when I put it on my cats, so that I remember to take it off and replace it in 3 days.
Just this it was just a couple nights ago. Actually, it was Sunday night. We had one heck of a thunderstorm, and Chloe, my golden doodle, was shaking like a leaf. I mean, just and I mean, I'm holding on to her and I'm petting her and talking, and nothing. It was not helping at all. And I had run out of my stress and anxiety patches, and we had just gotten some in. I'm going, oh, thank God. And I put one inside her collar, and she took a couple breaths and went, and laid down. And I was like, oh my God, that is just the best feeling when you've got a dog that's so upset. I mean, but I stuck it inside her collar. I was in my office. I was getting ready to do my Zoom and I didn't have any scotch tape. And, later on the storm was gone and I forgot about it. And then I checked inside her collar the other morning and I went, oh, crap. That's why you put tape on there.
Yes.
I lost it. I still haven't found where it went, but yeah, you put the tape on it to keep it on there. And
Especially if you have cats that move around and jump around, you have to have a little piece of tape just to secure it.
so those are dog stories. You tell a cat story.
Well, I have a new one. I had a call from an old client of mine. The daughter called and said that she has her mother's cat who is 12 years old, and the mother passed. And so the cat will not eat and is very depressed. And she said, Chere, I don't know what to do. I said, well, I can give you a few things. First of all, I mailed her stress and anxiety. I overnighted that patch to her. That cat needs stress and anxiety. And I said, the second thing you need to do is get some of your mama's old clothes, if you still have any of the old clothes, and
Mm.
make a bed so that the cat can curl up and smell the scent of the
Yeah.
mama. And then the third thing I mentioned was um, what kind of food special treats, if you remember what your mama fed the cat, and then play some kind of a game with a string or something to get her up and moving, because our physiology, movement moves your circulation, it helps your mind. When you just sit in a corner and you're depressed, it does not. You got to have motion, you got to have movement to keep you um, I think, alert and keep your body circulating into a different realm, a different
Mhm.
time, a different motion.
Yeah.
So she's doing all of that, and she got the patches today. So I'm sure that stress and anxiety is what the cat needs. Absolutely.
Well, and it also needs Hercules. I think every animal needs to have Hercules sprayed on their food or in their water.
Yeah.
Um, Not everybody has heard about your cat who's had tumors on its lungs. You want to
Oh,
tell about your cat because that's an Hercules story.
oh yeah. And he was just here. He just walked out.
I saw him go. I saw him.
Stallone is 13 now, and he was an outside cat, which I pulled in and brought him to the vet, and I did all my things, getting rid of all the maybe any parasites he might have had. And he we gave him a realm of all the traditional stuff, and he still, after 6 months of all the stuff to get rid of any kind of a pesticide or parasites that he may have had, he still developed from fleas tumors that moved into his lungs. Now, I've been on Hercules for 3 years, and this started when he was 3 years ago. So he's been on Hercules as long as I have. And that cat is still with me. He's still vibrant. I spray it on his tooth because I have 5 cats. And so I can't spray it on their food and expect him to get the dose I want him to have. So I spray it on a tooth, 1 squirt in the morning, and he doesn't like it, but that's too bad because the tumors have gone down. He has one lymph node that we're still working on, that lymph node.
Now, how many tumors did he have to start with?
6, and they were not small. And he would run and he'd stop and he'd cough and cough and cough. Now I hardly hear him coughing at all. He may cough once a week.
Hmm.
It's just a blessing. This Hercules is amazing.
I, I don't know what I would do. I mean, I have an outside cat and I have an inside dog. They all get it. Um, my chickens. So I have 16 chickens running around my backyard. I know very little about chickens. Um, Joshua wanted them, so we have them. But boy, do we get a lot of good eggs. I mean, they're amazing. They have such personalities. But there's something called, what do they call it? It's like it's like rot on their foot. And I've seen, I'm a Facebook group person for a chicken group. And I forgive because I don't know. And I mean it got all black and bloody. And I mean, I don't know what happened, if it got hurt or whatever, but it's there's a name for it. And and I thought, what am I gonna do? And I had I had Josh hold it and I washed it off really good with some soap and some water, and then and dried it real good. And then I put on I Revive
Mhm.
and just, put it over that open wound. And I did that 2 days in a row, and that was it. That it was just fine after that. And all these people in the chicken groups are going, "Oh my gosh, you can lose your chicken over that." And they had all of these elaborate things they were doing, and I'm going, I Revive, it's all I need.
It is really miraculous, totally miraculous.
So what are some of your favorite stories? Oh, and I want to say this to everybody that's on here, and we've got a nice group here. Um, if you have a story that you want to tell, please raise your hand, because we want you to tell your testimonial. And if you have any questions about issues that are going on with any of your pets, please raise your hand or put it in the chat, and we will answer those. Mostly Chere will answer those. So anyway, do you have any other, what are your favorite stories? If I said, what's one story,
Well,
what
my
would it?
most unusual story is I have a few unusual ones that have popped up recently, but I think the most spectacular one is Jeffrey. Jeff
Yes, yes.
goldfish that is this big, I swear. He's like a foot. He's 20 years old. His pet parent is going for the um, world record of 65 years old, and he had a growth on the side of his body. And he started to swim really slow. And she called me. She's a cat client of mine in New Orleans. And she said, "Oh, Cher, I think Jeffrey's dying. He's got this thing on his side. It looks like a lump." And I said, "Well, calm down. First of all, we're going to do an experiment. Let's put well, she said, you have to talk to Jeffrey. I think he's dying. Maybe he wants to go." So I talked to Jeffrey. I said, "Jeffrey, are you in pain?" "Yes, I'm old and I'm slowing down." He's got a very, very deep, deep voice. So I said, "Okay, that's all I need." So I said, "Let's put on the aquarium pain and inflammation on the aquarium, and let's just see how it works."
Now,
Well,
let me just stop you there. How many of you would have even thought about putting a patch on a fish, right? I, that would, when she told me that, it cracked me up because I never would have thought of that.
you
All
know,
right, sorry, go ahead.
as a healer, I go in theta and I connect with source energy and I get lots of downloads and lots of information. It's not really me. It's source energy that downloads these amazing ideas.
I'll put a patch on that fish tank. Oh,
And so he kept swimming up against, the aquarium, and it's a very large aquarium. And he kept swimming and swimming until he wore the the little scales off of that lump. Well, it took about two or 3 weeks flat. And I saw him when I went to New Orleans recently. It's flat, and now the scales are all back. So he's orange and he's swimming. He's fine. He's happy. And the other fish are swimming, and everybody is just happy.
nobody's in pain anymore.
No.
I
So
love that. I wish you didn't take a picture of him, did you?
I didn't. I didn't.
Well, the
I
next time
should
you go
have.
there,
I
yeah, we need a picture of Jeffrey.
Jeffrey. The 20-year-old.
You know, I think of all of the goldfish I've had, and man, they were lucky to live a year. So that a 20-year-old goldfish, and I can't believe that one lived 65 years. So that's a
That's a world record.
it's a world record. I'll tell you my favorite story was one that just it wasn't as much about the animal as about what it said about these products. I mean, okay, I'm going to do a screen share here. Let me get this. All right. So this is a picture of a horse's hoof. And you see this crack in this? This is a multi-million-dollar racehorse. Can you see that crack? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And when a horse gets this serious of a crack in its hoof, they've never been able to heal that. They've never been able to heal that. They have to put the horse down. And this is a multi-million-dollar racehorse. And the owner of this horse had been using iHercules and had been hearing our cat and dog stories. I don't think we'd had fish and chicken stories yet, but and he's going, well, it works for cats and dogs. Let me do this for the horse. And he started spraying 10 sprays in the morning, 10 sprays at night on the horse's food. 10 sprays is a lot, but horses are 1,000 pounds. So, and in 2 weeks' time, this is what happened. Can you see that hoof?
Oh, yeah.
I've got it flipped, but it really is the same hoof, the other. And it's totally smooth and totally healed. But what this said to me when I saw this picture, it was like, oh my God, this proves that this is quantum nutrition. Because, you know, quantum, the word quantum means packets of light. And we can get those packets of light through particles or waves. They can be particles or waves. When you spray iHercules under your tongue and it goes into your bloodstream, it's going in as particles. But that horse's hoof has no circulation.
Mm.
So it could not get it through the circulatory system. That's why nothing before this has ever healed that condition because there's no circulation.
Yeah.
How did it heal? It got it through quantum waves. It took the nutrition in through quantum waves.
Yeah.
Now, there are conditions in the body that wall off tissue so that there's no oxygen or no nutrition. And guess what? Quantum waves can get in there too. So this was like an eye opener for me.
Me too. I love that one. I just love that one.
Maureen, are you there? Can you unmute yourself? Maureen today was saying that she had an animal testimonial that she wanted to share. Oh, good. Can you unmute yourself?
Yes, I can.
Hi there.
Oops. 1 second. Yes. Okay.
All right. Yay. Hi.
Hi. Hi there. Let me wait 1 second. Gallery. Yeah. Good evening, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here with you. And Chere is just so good to hear their stories, especially those phenomenal stories about fishes. And just like Kare said, there's no way I would have thought of putting a patch on an aquarium. No way, no how. Anyway, my daughter has a Shiba Inu, and this dog is a medium-sized dog and usually attacks everybody. Attack my little Yorkie, attack even a German Shepherd. So this particular day, a few weeks ago, he went under the fence to the side of the house. We have a big backyard, and he left the big backyard and went to the side of the fence, and a bigger dog attacked him. We don't know where this dog came from, but if it wasn't for the ring my daughter had, we wouldn't even know what happened. But he attacked him and bit a big piece out of his left leg. You could see the bone, you could see the muscle.
Oh.
And he was limping, he was screaming, and he was limping. My daughter wasn't home, so she wasn't going to be able to take him to the vet. So I grabbed my Hercules and I sprayed 4 sprays in the open area. I just sprayed it. Funny enough, he did not bark at me or growl. He just licked it. So I said, well, if he's licking it, it's fine because it's going to go in the bloodstream. So regardless, it's going to work. So 2 times, at least twice a day, I sprayed 4 sprays. The very next day, he stopped limping. And I said, it's working. When I looked at the wound, it started closing. And I sprayed for 3 days. I sprayed 4 sprays in the open wound. She finally was able to take him to the vet. And the vet said, well, you should have taken him to me the very day that it happened. It's 4 days, it's too late. She said, I'd have to go and surgically open that wound right back again. And she said, a Shiba Inu is not a dog that you can do that to. He's not going to allow me to do that. So she said, the wound is clean. And I'm smiling because I know this is what did it. She said, the wound is clean. So all I really need to do is give you antibiotics. So you could give it to him for 10 days. And that's it, just to prevent an infection. And now I tell her the wound closed right up. It's just absolutely amazing. And I didn't use iRevive. All I did was use iHercules right in the wound. And he allowed me to spray it. But once it got healed, he growled at me. When I sprayed it, he growled at me. I said, okay, all right. Okay. So his name is Simba. And that is my story about Simba. He's doing fine now. No problem.
Does Simba climb trees?
No.
I've heard of, say the name of the dog.
A Shiba Inu.
Shiba Inu. Yeah, I've heard that they can climb trees. I don't know. I just wondered.
I know. All I know is a hunter. He will kill anything. So that was unusual for him to get attacked. That was very unusual.
Wow.
Yep. But
thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome.
All right. Any other stories? Anybody have another story that they want to share with us? Or are there any questions out here? So I want to tell a story that happened. This was early on. And this was what really got me excited about this for animals. Because, animals have a metabolism that's like, what, 8 times faster than ours. So if you've got a sick animal, a lot of times they'll get well really quick. Our next door neighbor had a big old mutt that just laid down, quit eating, quit drinking, quit walking. I mean, then they took it to the vet, and the vet said, he's got a mass around his heart. His organs are starting to shut down. There's nothing that I can do. Take him home and just love on him. They had just lost their son to a drunk driver. They had not had the funeral yet. And I'm thinking, oh dear God, that dog is going to die during the funeral, all by itself, because they're going to. And so I asked Josh to take one of the Hercules over, and I said, don't explain the whole thing. Just say, spray it in his mouth, one spray every hour or 2. It'll make him more comfortable. And I was hoping it would extend his life a little bit. The next morning, Josh went over, knocked on their door to see how the dog was. That was the day of the funeral. And they come to the door. The dog is standing at the door, wagging his tail. I was like, wow, oh my God. And then 3 months later, they were having a birthday party for their grandbaby who was 3. And there were all these little kids running around the yard with this dog that was running around like a puppy. I mean, I've seen miracles with this stuff. And it all comes down to the same thing. If you can get the blood clean and open and the circulation flowing, then the immune system comes back up, stem cell production comes back up. Those are the repair cells. So the body can repair anything. The body is a miracle. This is not a miracle. The body is a miracle. This is food, but this is the first ever real quantum nutritional food. It is made from 44, from the top molecules from 44 of the most powerful plants on the planet. And the iRevive cream, same thing. It is from the top molecules, and it's edible too. It's 100% plants. It's 100% edible. So the other night, Chloe was going like this again. I'm going, oh gosh, she's got something going on in her ears. And I just took a little fingerful. I'll show you how much. I mean, this is a tiny little container, but it sure doesn't take much. I took about, maybe this is even more than, you see that little lump on the top of my finger? So I just put that on my finger and stuck it in her ear and rubbed it around, did the same thing on the other one. And I'm putting this on my hands. And the next morning, I mean, she wasn't up at all during the night scratching. And the next morning I looked in her ears and they weren't red and they weren't, they were just good. And also every once in a while she'll get itchy on her paws and be licking her paws, and I'll just put this on the pads of her feet. And I've gotten stuff for that from the vet. And I'm always afraid of it because of what's in it. It's medicine, I don't want her licking that off. But this, she can lick off and it just makes her digestion even better. I mean, it's for skin. And skin goes from your mouth to the other end. That is all skin. We think it's in the body. It is in the body, but it's not inside the body. It is a tube that goes through our body, and that's skin. So any digestive issues that you or your pet have, eat it. Eat that iRevive.
I do. I still do. And it's been 4 months now since I've had any bit of acid reflux. I had it a couple of times and I said, oh, I need to try some. Jim Barnett is the one who mentioned on one of our Zooms that he ate it. Well, that's all I needed to hear. So I started eating a tiny bit on a tiny cracker every morning. And I have not ever had any acid reflux again. And also talking about the iRevive, I have a client of mine in Sealy, Texas, which is about 30 miles from Houston. And these are donkeys that got itchy ears. And so they were rubbing their ears on the fence and scratching their ears on wood. So I brought a little container of iRevive for the pet parent to put on the donkey's ears. And so she put it in there, and within 3 days, that red stuff was just gone. Well, the donkey remembered how nice it felt for her to be putting the iRevive in the ear. And those donkeys, every time she'd come out to feed them, they would be rubbing their head on her. They wanted more iRevive.
I love it. That's our first donkey story.
Yep, that's in Sealy, Texas. She has the little miniature donkeys with a cross on the back.
Uh-huh.
And they're precious, but they still, she says, Cher, they won't stop rubbing the ears. This one won't stop because he still wants iRevive rubbed in his ears.
Well, she needs to get him some then.
Well, now she orders it for her own skin, for her face, and I told her how they migrate from around your face for our neck. They migrate to your eyes, to your ears, and then into your organs. Those fibro blast stem cells. I mean, what kind of face cream has, stem cells that migrate and heal the rest of your body?
Everybody talks about stem cells, but it's all about taking stem cells from something else and putting them into our bodies. This is the first ever product that actually stimulates stem cell production. Because usually by the time you're 60, if you've got any left, you're like a miracle. By the time you're 30, 50% of them are gone. And Chere and I'm Chere's 75, I'm 76. We've got massive amounts of stem cells now and we're reversing in age and issues because this works. And this, if you do the iRevive and the iHercules together, you're getting the stem cells from the inside out and the outside in. And you can target where it's going to go by using the cream on the outside if you've got a knee issue or neuropathy. Or I had the weirdest thing in my ear. I don't know, it was kind of like, it was maybe like a eczema or something. It was big and crunchy, and I was working. I put this on several days in a row, going, "Oh my God, what is that?" And then one day I went like this, and it was gone. It was like, this cream is amazing. But think of all the little cuts and scrapes and bug bites and things that you get on pets. And you need it for that, but you also need to be feeding them iHercules in their food or in their water. I mean, there's nothing that's going to do what this. You want to keep your pets around a long time. I mean, maybe we can hit world records with our dogs and cats and chickens, as well as what's his name? Jeff the fish?
Jeffrey.
Jeffrey. But it wouldn't surprise me because a lot of you have heard me tell the chicken story about, I think it was Stanford University who said they were doing an anti-aging program, and they used chickens because a chicken's lifespan is 4 to 5 years, so they could do several generations. And they actually kept a chicken heart beating for 50 years because they put it in a petri dish. And I mean, how do you keep a chicken heart beating for 50 years if its lifespan is 4 to 5, right? They changed the water in the petri dish every single day. The only reason that chicken heart died because the guy went on vacation, gave it to somebody who didn't quite do it right. But they kept it clean every single day. And I look at what's going on. I mean, we live in toxic soup. We've got toxins in our air, in our food, in our water. Our blood is as polluted as our rivers and streams. So are our animals' blood. And probably in my lifetime, we're not going to clean that all up totally. But you know what? With iHercules, I'm cleaning my internal environment every day, every day. And every day that I don't use this, I'm getting toxic stuff into my blood. So I don't think I've missed a day in 5 years. I
I
really,
know I haven't. And every time I pass the bottle, my husband says, "You're spraying again?" I said, "Well, yes, I am."
but
So,
look at how energetic we are. It's like, this is why.
and I am just reversing my age back. So I am not going beyond 75. I told my husband, that's it. My cutoff is 75. I'm staying here.
I think I'm gonna make it for at least another 100 years. So, why not? Every condition I have has been reversed. And I'm keeping my dog here too. That's why I do this with her. Because I don't because because she deserves to live another 100 years too. So
And we have all the fabulous tools, to give our pets that can keep them with us for longer.
and keep them healthy and happy. And that's the whole thing. I mean, who wants to who wants to live a long life if they're in pain and if they're have no energy? You don't want to keep your dog that way. You don't want to keep your husband that way. It's like you want to live well and prosper. So,
Oh,
on
yeah.
fingers, I didn't do that there. Live long and prosper.
Well, that's her motto, live younger, now movement. That's us.
Yeah, Susan Stadley just says, new world records coming for the animals and us.
I love it.
I know. So, do any of you have testimonials that you would like to share? Anybody have any questions? Because we still have a little bit of time here. All right. So, what are some other stories that you've heard or that you've been involved with? Share.
Well, I have two more. I have a parrot that was very jealous. The husband had the parrot for about 12 years, and when he married his wife, the parrot was a big mahawk, the big ones. Very jealous of the new wife. So every time he'd open the cage, the parrot was used to sitting on the table and eating macaroni or whatever they would give him in a little bowl next to them. Well, after he got married, the bird was very jealous. And so it would come out and attack the wife.
Oh, no.
And she was petrified of this big bird. She's not an animal person to start with. And so she would run. And of course, the parrot's running after her. So this was a big mess. So he said, Chere, I'm not going to get rid of my pet. This is my love of my life, this parrot. And so I said, look, let's do this. Put stress and anxiety on the cage. Just put it on the cage. And then in about 3 days, let's see what happens. Well, he did. And when he opened the cage, the wife is ready to run. And they're sitting at the table. She's in the running position. And the bird sits there with the macaroni and just sits quietly. Now, the bird is ignoring the wife completely, won't look at her, no eye contact, and just faces the husband, but is eating the macaroni and being very polite. So he said, well, I think the patch works, Chere. This is wonderful. I said, okay, well, let's try it without the patch. So about the 5th or 6th day, the same thing. He opens the cage. No. Oh, no. The bird chases the wife. So finally, he said, look, order me some more of those patches because this bird needs to be stressed out because he's driving me crazy, the husband. So I said, let's do the patches after one another for about a couple of weeks and let's just see. And I will talk to the parrot and explain this is not acceptable. This behavior is not going to work in the family anymore. So I had a long conversation and we did 2 weeks of stress and anxiety and now it's over. He doesn't, he comes out and he sits at the table with them and he's still not really warm to the wife, but at least he's not trying to bite her.
Wow. That's an amazing story. Well, that's similar to the story that was told by Ayako
With the fish.
with the fish that when she heard you talk about Jeffrey, she put patches on her aquarium, and she had fish that had been laying eggs, but the other fish would come and eat them. And
Mhm.
after she put put a patch on, I think she did stress and anxiety
Stress and anxiety. Yeah.
on the tank, and then two different fish laid eggs, and two father fish came and just protected them, and she may be having babies soon. And that's never happened, and she's had an aquarium for years. So, I mean,
Well, the frequency, the bioenergetic just go right through the glass. And so it's waves of quantum realm and for in
it's,
high frequency.
well, and it contains all of the frequencies of the molecules of 44 of the most powerful plants from my Hercules. So they're getting nourished with all of these top plants. It's also taking and grounding frequencies from EMFs and 5G, all of the energetic chatter from all of our cell phones and computers and stuff. And then there's an additional 50 different frequencies. Let's say if you're doing stress and anxiety, there are frequencies from different plants, flower essences,
Gems
homeopathies,
and the
gems,
gems.
crystals, anything that has been proven to be effective for stress and anxiety. And so then those fish, those animals, those people can just pick and choose what it needs from those frequencies. I mean, how do you get any better than that?
Yeah. And the hops bush is in every one, and that is for scattered energy. So it pulls your energy together and helps you to be more grounded and feel like you're more together. It's just amazing. I love all of them. I do.
Well, and when I look at what I used to, all the stuff I used to give my dog, and all of the supplements I used to take, and now this is it. You know,
Yep.
this is the nutrition. It's and it's so much easier. It's so much less expensive than what I was doing.
Mm-hmm.
And nothing, I mean, this is a paradigm shift for our animals and for ourselves, because this hits at the root cause of all of our issues. You know, my dog, Chloe, it was maybe, I don't know, maybe even a year, I have no sense of time. About a year ago, maybe, um, she tore her cruciate ligament in her knee. I mean, all the way through. And I took her to the vet. She couldn't walk. She's limping, but really was like, you could tell it really hurt. And he said, nothing we can do. She has to have surgery. And they said they would cut the bone above and below the knee, and they would like glue it together. And she would have to not jump up on the bed or the couch or anything for like 3 months, and it was going to cost like
Oh
$7,000.
yeah.
And I'm going, oh my God, what? I mean, and then I'm thinking, I was in a wheelchair. I'm not in a wheelchair anymore because of this, because when you open up the circulation, inflammation goes away, and then the body is able to, put clean blood through there, and the immune system's back up, and you've got stem cells, and everything is starting to work. So I'm thinking, if I wouldn't have that surgery for myself, would I really do that for my dog? And then how on earth? And they said if she jumps up on the bed and jumps off the bed, she could just ruin the whole thing. I'm going, can't keep her off the bed or off the couch. I mean, that's, I
Mhm.
can't do that. I'm not going to keep her in a cage for 3 months. So I just And the medication, I mean, it was like making her a zombie. Um, and so I took her off the medication and I just, kept giving her more and more of the eye Hercules. And she, started limping a little bit, but just getting around. And I'm thinking, all right, today she's out in the backyard chasing squirrels. You would not know that there was anything wrong with her knee. And, the vet said she has to have this surgery. There is nothing you can do to fix that. That's
Because he had to have the money for that surgery, first of all.
well, and I was going to say, and my vet, my surgeon, said, "You'll be back. There's no way that you're going to reverse." Because I told him, I'll figure out a way to reverse this, and he just goes, "You'll be back when you're in too much pain." That was over 5 years ago.
Mhm.
Yeah. So one of these days, I want to go back and have the MRI. Maybe I don't know if I really want to do that, but I want to show him.
Mhm.
that.
My husband always says, Cher, you are just so rude to these doctors. These are doctors. I said, they put on their pants the same way I put on my shorts. And so, no, no, no. They are a mindset that is not holistic. They fight all holistic things. They are used to pharmaceuticals and the book. That's it. They don't
But
think outside of the box. I'm sorry.
not all of them are like that, but a lot of them are. Um,
Yep.
but we have a lot of doctors that are using these products.
Mhm.
Um, so there are a lot of, I mean, I've been in natural healing and energy medicine over 50 years. And I know if I had been in medicine over 50 years trying to heal patients with drugs that didn't heal them,
Yeah.
I would be looking for alternatives. And there's a lot of people there's a lot of changes coming on. And I'll tell you, this company, they didn't start this to make money. Pharmaceuticals it's about wealth care, not health care, in my opinion. But this company, there are four very wealthy businessmen. They didn't start this to make more money for themselves. They did it as a mission to change healthcare. Because what I say is, who in their right mind would take drugs or supplements if you can spray plants under your tongue and reverse everything? And that's why I'm so passionate about sharing this. This is why Chere is so passionate about sharing this. I have to tell a funny story on Chere.
I know which one you're going
Me too.
to.
know, I did not start this to do it as a business, neither did Cher. We're healers. We just want to help people. And this is the best of the best of the best of the best. I mean, you couldn't shut us up if you tried. And so my son Joshua is doing a, a mastermind class on LYN Live he does these every Wednesday night at 9 o'clock Eastern time on the compensation, on the business opportunity. And he he did an interview with four women, they're all like our age, um, who were just sharing this and had no clue. No, and I'm part of that group, had no clue about the marketing, the compensation plan. I didn't really understand it. And I figured as long as he did, I didn't need to. So I didn't know. But so he's going very slow and gentle, explaining this. And then he said to Cher, so Cher, you started sharing this but you didn't understand even how to get into the back office, right? So she so she finally, and we sent her an email and said, watch this, and that didn't work. She called our office and she got walked through how to do it. And And Chere says, yeah, and there was $3,500 in my back office. And what did Joshua say to you, Chere?
Oh, Chere, honey, it was $35,000. 3,500.
Yeah,
And
she's
at that time, I still didn't know how to get into my back office.
but I bet she does now because she had to get it out of there.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, but that wasn't our intention. But this company gives back up to 71% of their profits to the people that are sharing this, which I've never seen a company do anything even close to this. And then Michelle Moore, I think, is on here tonight. And Michelle was on that interview too. And Michelle is 86, and she and her husband had been using this for a year. And she decided to do it as a business, started a business at 86. And now she's got all sorts of people doing it. I was like, this is the best product, the best company, the best group of people. I mean, the people that are attracted to this are conscious. I mean, and they do it because we call this program compassion with compensation, which I love that. That, like, it's not about making money, but you might as well get compensated for the time that you take to share this with others. And with the economy the way it is today, um,
Yeah.
everybody could use a little bit extra
Or a lot for that matter.
or a lot. A lot. Yes. And it's just going to get bigger and better. So I love these products. I love our animals, and I am so grateful that we have these and we can use these on every animal we've got for any condition. Um, I would have taken my dog to the vet many times in the last couple of years, but I haven't needed to because I've got these, and these fix things because it opens the circulation and cleans the blood and boosts the immune system and stimulates our own stem cell production and reverses biological age and issues.
Yep.
This is a godsend. This is a
We're
godsend.
blessed to have this on the planet at this time. And
Absolutely.
a lot of my um, holistic vets that are MDs that are now holistic that use homeopathy are now moving with patches and Hercules with their clients. So a lot of them are on board with our products, which is so exciting.
Well, and why not? It's 100% plant. The top molecules from 44 of the most powerful plants on the planet. There is nothing else added. I will say one thing on the label, it says they've added some sort of alcohol. Not true. Um, According to labeling law, you have to pick from their lists what you can put on your label. And they didn't have on their list what was in this. But this really truly is only 100% plants. They took 3 of the plants and fermented them to make their own plant alcohol.
Mhm.
And that's the preservative in this. That's why this is so safe. And the other thing with labeling law, um, you can't say that it has a shelf life longer than 3 years. That's just the law.
Mhm.
But when we asked the head of the science team, well, what do you think the shelf life for Hercules is? He said, oh, 23 years. But they're not going to last that long in my house. Man, I go through these like crazy. So
Me too.
more is better with this. I mean, really. And if you start sharing this, you don't have to think about, oh, how much are these? Because the money just comes in to buy more of yours, or to go, do whatever you want to do, without having to look at price tags, because this is an opportunity to share something that is going to help everybody, from newborn babies to 100-year-olds to everybody's pet on the planet. And if you come up with pets that we haven't talked about yet, and you have amazing stories, please let us know. It is so good to share, because it's like, who would have thought of putting a patch on a fish tank, you know? But now we've got all sorts of people doing that. And we'll just keep asking Cher what she's done this month, because we'll keep getting more crazy ideas that work, because this works. Cher, it's always a delight to have you on, and I so appreciate you taking your time and sharing your amazing stories. Um, and thank you all for coming, and please share your animal stories with us, because that just helps a whole lot of people when you do that.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
what this is all about. Sharing our compassion and our love, and using plants from God's garden to bring us back to wholeness and health, to bring our mind, body, and spirit into balance, and to be able to make the kind of changes that are necessary on this planet today. So, blessings, everybody. Thank you for coming. We love you, and we love your pets. Talk
Thank
to you
you, Care.
soon. Bye, everybody. Oh, tomorrow night, 9 o'clock Eastern time, is another class on compensation. 9 o'clock Eastern time, compensation. 8 o'clock Eastern time, presentation. It's mine. There's one on LYN Live every night of the week except Friday. So check us out. Blessings. Bye now.